excited to share that SoloMoms Talk is now on YouTube. Check out these interviews on our new channel, SoloMoms Talk TV. There you will actually see the interaction between myself and my guests. You will also find bite-sized clips of daily inspiration to help you manage the struggles of everyday life. So click SoloMoms Talk TV below to watch now. Today I'm speaking with Dr. Leslie. Dr. Leslie empowers moms to take back control of their lives from their sons with a transformational, God-centered approach. I love it. Welcome, Dr. Leslie.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yes, for sure. Okay, so we're going to get into talking about mothers and their sons. But before we do, could you tell us about Dr. Leslie?
Yes, I am Dr. Leslie from Dr. Leslie Inspires. And the platform that I have is about mothers. Really, it's very similar to yours, actually. But it's about mothers who are struggling to raise their sons. And I developed that platform from working in the school system and also owning my own private school, working with moms. And primarily over time, it's been, I will say, 90% young men, 90% boys. And having worked with so many boys in different environments or different young men, and then also watching them grow, I started to see really how mothers were doing a disservice to their sons. And not all mothers, but a lot. It was enough for me to take notice. And seeing that disservice and having to work with the young men, catching the backlash of them not doing or not being able to do or not wanting to do or not doing because there was a lack of accountability. And many mothers were, doing this and they were doing the best that they can. So there's a plethora of mothers that I have come in contact with. And that's the mother who's in denial. That's the mother who just loves her son so much that she thinks the son sets on everything that he does. There's also the mother who has spoiled her son so much that he is absolutely no good to anybody. There's the wounded mother who she's done so many, she's had so many wounds, bad relationships, bad relationship with her mom, bad relationship with her dad, that she puts all of that into her son, and he's still no good because now he's so dependent on her. I mean, I can go on and on. Yeah. So it's not just one thing. It's many things that caused me to form my platform, Dr. Leslie Inspires, and really try to work with mothers to help them to potentially see the blind spot that they may not be able to see. Just like your platform, I know that a lot of mothers, it's tough because they are doing it by themselves, or they are doing it as a result of having to deal with the man with the type of son that they're raising. They ended up marrying somebody who's not really much help to them. So you see what I'm saying? So it's a very general topic. Yeah. But the topic is mothers who are struggling in one form or another with their sons.
All right. Just leading into that, and so we could get into a better discussion of the experiences we have. What brought you to this topic? Like, what got you concerned about this? Because it is a big concern as a mother of 3 sons. Yeah. I know.
Yeah. Working in the schools with young men who, again, don't have any accountability for who they are as a man, and just realizing that, as I've had different conversations with their mother in most cases, because in the schools, I hate to say it, but most of the time it's the mom who is at the school who is working with the son, trying to get him to do certain things. There's a lot of absent fathers. And so I began to say, I wish that fathers knew and understood the power that they have, because the fathers that I do get a chance to work with, they usually know and understand who they are. And they recognize that it is important for them to be in their son's life. And so just looking at the 2 different situations, I wanted, one, to help mothers to understand you are very influential. So, you've got the mother who speaks down or who doesn't hold him accountable. level. And she may also not allow her husband or the son's father to really have a strong voice in that young man's life. And that impacts him as well. So seeing all of this at the school level brought me to the place where I'm saying, I've got to do something to kind of help enlighten mothers, to help enlighten fathers, and to help enlighten sons. Because even though I have a huge impact on mothers, I have the biggest impact on their sons because I'm with them.
Yeah.
And I have a voice in their life. And so, many of them can look to me as a mother figure to where, they're looking for, some of them are looking for what they're not getting from their moms, which is influence. They want to be encouraged. They want to be lifted up. They want to be motivated. And a lot of mothers are using their mouth. And that's one of my podcasts I pre-recorded that'll be coming up. Just mothers understanding the words that come out of their mouth and speaking life into their sons, because we're doing a great job at tearing them down. So answer that, it's the schools.
Okay. All right.
Working with young men in schools.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah. So it is a big problem, I believe. And I hear a lot of women, I'm in a lot of single mom Facebook group because that's what the podcast is about. And, they tend to say, well, I don't need them because, meaning the daddy, that they're this or they're that. And we fail to realize it's not about us, right? It's not about you. Nobody cares about you in this situation. Your child is the number one. You take care of yourself, yes, but your words shouldn't destroy your son. And, from what you're saying, the daddy has a big influence. And yes, it's true that maybe if you know that person more than your son does, but the relationship between the father and the son should build or deteriorate based on that relationship, right? Not the mother influencing it.
That's right.
Negatively.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's a big, big problem. But if we look at the problem, which is one of the things that I want to tell mothers, part of the relationship that they have with the significant other, with the child's father, like you said, it has nothing to do, even though it does, they feel like he might be a deadbeat dad. He doesn't do anything. Or it may be a bona fide reason. Maybe he's a murderer or a killer. I don't know. But usually what I have found is a lot of the anger issues that young men have, it goes back to mom. Even though they love mom and mom is getting all the love, she's also getting the backlash of what he is not getting from his dad.
Yeah.
Many times they can't articulate it. They articulate it as, he won't do this, he's nothing, he ain't this, and he's not that. But what they're really saying is, I want my dad. And I want my dad to care enough about me to be in my life. And I have interviewed some younger ones. I actually put together some videos, which I made a course, on some young men who age 16 through, I think, like 53. And they all articulated that. They were old enough to articulate it at that moment. They were angry, and some were still somewhat angry, but they can now identify that anger as, I'm mad at my dad. But mothers are the ones who actually took the brunt of it,
Yeah. Oh, it's a complex situation, but one that needs to be addressed. And I'm glad you're at least doing your part. And it's funny that you said you work in the school system, because the other day I was summarizing the amount of time I heard that a teacher spoke negatively into their student. And I'm thinking to myself, those thoughts, those words either sent the person the other way, do better, or just say, well, she don't believe, why do I care? So I'm glad that you in the school system has recognized the problem and that you're addressing at least a part of the problem, because this Black family...
And it's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot because, children, to include high school, to include college students, the environment that they are in plays such a huge part.
Yeah.
So even, having a bad teacher or a teacher that speaks negative about a son, sometimes I have found that teachers do that because that's what they have found gets their attention. And so it could be that's how mom or that's how the family members talk to their child. That's how they talk to them at home. And so in order for that child to understand, or at least show that they understand or respect the teacher in some capacity, they go there, they speak negatively, or they sound like mom.
Yeah.
And now you've got their attention.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
All right. Just breaking a little bit. What is Dr. Leslie grateful for today?
I am grateful for so many things. I've been really studying gratitude. Funny you should ask that, Jen. But I am grateful just for life. I'm grateful for health. I'm grateful for the little things, because I think so many times we don't really, we're always looking for the next big thing. We're always looking for that thing that is going to move us out of this position or that position, but it prevents us from being grateful for what we have now, for being grateful for where we are right now. So I'm grateful for the journey. I'm grateful for being on this show, talking to you today.
Thank you.
You know, so I'm just operating with the spirit of gratitude. There's so many different things that we can be grateful for.
Yes, amen. Thank you. All right. So this is a really big topic, and it's hard to deal with. And I think it's harder for me because I'm a mother of sons. But first of all, how can someone get in touch with you? One, and then we'll move on.
Okay. Email, which is info@drlesleyinspires.com. That's info@drlesleyinspires.com. They can also visit us on the website, just kind of see some of the different things that we do, which is www.drlesleyinspires.com.
Okay.
They could also become a part of our private Facebook group, which is Son Rescue Method for Moms. Trying to get that group to be a little more active. You know, what I have found too, Jen, is a lot of women in this situation. You would be surprised when I do Facebook, when I put my webinar out through Facebook ads, my emails get loaded because people cannot believe that somebody is out here talking about this because they didn't realize it was a real problem. And they think that they're the only ones actually dealing with this situation. So it's one thing when, you know, we're saying mothers who are trying to juggle everything, mothers who are trying to do so much by themselves, as you speak of. And then there's something else to say a mother of 3 sons who has the same exact issues, but is targeted at sons. And, you know, some women, they don't have any males. I spoke to a woman who she was ready. The father, he kind of did some things, you know, whenever he felt like it, but she was ready to say, take them and go to another state so that she would not have to deal with them because they gave her a lot of problems. But she didn't want to, you know, have problems with the law and different things like that. So women go through so much with their sons, and they're doing the best that they can. Some, but I think if we can help them to recognize that they're not alone. I mean, they truly are not alone. So when I give a free breakthrough call for a woman to just call and talk to me, they're just happy. Like they're relieved at that breakthrough call, at the fact that they got to talk to somebody who did not judge them. And I think that's the thing. A lot of women, they don't want to be judged for what they're going through, but they want someone to tell them what to do in a way that they can actually do it and succeed at it. Many of them, they love their sons. Some of them don't know what to do with him because he might be out of control. Maybe because she spoiled him so much when he was younger, you know, that now that little baby stage, it's not, those actions are not cute anymore. And some women, they really don't know or understand the role that they've played. And I can usually hear it in a moment. I can hear the role that they've played. And some women are open to it and some women are not. But when it comes to the coaching piece of what we do, I don't work with a mother who can't see her role because we're not going to get anywhere nowhere.
Right.
It's usually a series of actions, a series of incidents that she has to go through with her son in order to believe, like, what am I doing? What else can I do? And what have I done? And the son, he may be telling her, you did this and you did that, or you don't do this and you don't do that. And sometimes it's true and sometimes it's not.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's manipulation that he is throwing on her to make her feel bad to get his way, because he's done it for so long. And I'm talking about in his 50s.
Wow.
He's done it. He mastered it at age 5. It was never caught. So now he's 50 and he's still doing it.
Yeah. Yeah. And I guess, I guess too, is that even the words that are coming out, they might not be true. I've kind of developed the art of reading between the lines. I listen to what you're not saying, and I've been able to deal with people that way, in that, I hear you beyond the words. I want to talk about, and I'm going to ask you to give one piece of advice to solo moms who are raising sons, and just tell us pretend you're coaching, and just give one piece of advice.
It would definitely depend on the mother and her situation. But I would say the biggest piece, if it was a mom who, I actually thought about this, because the one message that I want to give mothers is to look at your role. Look at the part that you've played in where your son is. Like, that's the biggest thing I want them to see, because the condition of your son, he didn't get here overnight. He didn't just turn into this person overnight.
Yeah.
And so when women hear our podcast, or they, like you said, get the coaching, they begin to see, okay, so I did do this. Maybe it's because of me doing that. It's not going to be just one thing. But if overall moms can look at the role that they've played in getting this son to where he is today, and then begin to look at what they can now undo, because some of it they feel like, okay, I'm seeing what I've done and I cannot undo. Oh, yes, you can.
Yeah.
And you will, if you want to salvage the relationship with your son.
Yeah.
If you want to help him into his destiny, yes, you will. And it is quite painful.
Yeah, I'm sure.
But you have to be able to look at where you are now and where you want to be, where he is now and where you want him to be. And in some cases, he's so far gone, she can't change him. And we have to look at it like that anyway. You can't change him, but you can change yourself.
Yeah. Thank you.
So part of what we do is we go through those roles. We listen to, what they're saying in my course. I developed a course that addresses very specific things that they can do to begin that process of soul searching in terms of, what was my role? What can I do? Part of it is something that we said at the beginning, which is the words that you speak.
Yeah.
Some of us are talking too much. And some of us are not talking enough.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Thank you. It goes without saying that we have to get to a place where we need to apologize, even if it wasn't a big thing. That, because whether we like to admit it or not, if we're the only parent they know and they've developed characteristics or traits, because they don't have to be a troubled teen who went to jail or anything. They could be other things, like not being able to handle responsibility. And so I think if we as mothers could get to a point where we could apologize, I'm sorry, I didn't do it well, because none of us got a playbook, say, here's the baby and this is how you do it, right? But if we could humble ourselves and say, you know what, I realize now looking back that maybe I didn't do the best job I could, and just talk to your son as person to person. I think that would help,
Jen, you hit it on the nail on the head. And that is one of the strategies that I use in my course. One of the things, I have 2 daughters and a son, and my daughter, she would, the oldest one, who's like 25, 26 now, she would just say, well, when you did this or you did that, talking to me. And I always tell parents, it's coming back. No matter what good a job you think you did, they are going to tell you about your shortcomings at some point. And so, I realized that she was making making some bad decisions. And some of it was displaced anger. So even though this happens to male and female, we just choose to use the platform for sons. But a lot of mothers will call me or send me an email and say, well, what about daughters? I'm struggling with my daughter. Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, you can use the same exact principles, but we're just choosing sons. But one day I just heard the Lord say, just apologize to her, because she would just say it over and over, over the years. And then I would go back. Well, you so and so, you need to do this, that, and that. And one day I realized she needed to be heard. Mm-hmm. She needed to know that I understood her plight, and she wanted me to understand and hear. Yeah. And when I started telling mothers about that strategy, it works. It works. But sometimes, Jen, it can be so difficult for mothers to do. Yeah. Because there could be so much damage that has been done that they don't feel justified. Mothers don't feel justified in apologizing to their son for this mess that he has made of her life and his. Yeah. Because now the things that he's doing, he's making a mess out of her life. Mm-hmm. And the thing is, she's ready to get her life back. So why should I apologize to him for messing up my life? I almost lost my job. Yeah. I can't even keep a decent relationship because of this boy. Or I can, I can go on and on about the things that she is experiencing or the challenges that she is facing because of him. So apologizing, maybe not right now. But as she continues through the course, she's a little more ready to say, okay, if this is what I have to do to get some peace, then I'll go ahead and do it. Yeah. And sometimes forgiveness is not immediate. We do it for the sake of keeping the peace. Yeah. And then we learn to truly forgive over a period of time. We speak forgiveness out of our mouth, but then over time, we really start to believe that we forgive this person. Yeah. Some people never really forgive, but at least you can say that you've done it and you can move on, because you're not forgiving for that person. You're forgiving for yourself. And if you want your son to walk in his destiny, apologize. Yeah. Apologize and move on. Yeah. And whether he accepts it or not, whether he understands that it's still your fault, let it go. Yeah, true. Let it go. Yeah, true. Thank you. And would you agree that if the mother can find a way to get help or her own issues, would you agree that it would make it easier to mend, reconnect, and reestablish some kind of parental relationship with that young man? Yes. Jen, I will tell you a secret. That's what Dr. Leslie Inspires is all about. Okay. We talk about sons, but you can't do anything with him until you start with you. Yeah. But you cannot tell a mother that when we start, there's nothing wrong with her. Everything is him. Until we really start going through this process and dealing with ourselves, then the focus comes off of him. But you cannot say it. And I know there's some things that I'm saying that are reciprocal for what you're doing, but that's the meat of it. That's why I said initially I had to say, I've got to really deal with these mothers to help them. Yeah. And it's usually childhood issues that have not been dealt with, which is why she's so overprotective of him, which is why maybe she can't stand his guts. Her son, which is, it's so many different things, and it takes a moment. Some women are more open, to talking about that. I have had most women tell me that I'm easy to talk to, so it helps to bring those issues out to where they can deal with them. But that's the problem. Yeah. That is the problem. No matter what issues he has, I know that there is an issue that she has, that she has not dealt with. And until she can be honest with herself and stop pointing the fingers at him, yes, he does have those issues. Yes, he is doing what you said he did. And you really have to be strategic when you are dealing with hurt and wounded girls, because it's the girl that's on the inside who's still the girl. who maybe still wants love. Because you have mothers whose some of their sons are taking the place of their husband. He's their husband. And what kind of relationship is he going to have with mother in the middle of everything? You know what I mean? So yes, she's got some undealt with issues that as part of our course, as part of our process, when we get to that point, she has to deal with those issues so that his are not so magnified. That was an excellent question. People usually don't ask that question because the focus is so much on the son.
Thank you very much. And thank you for coming and talking to me today, Dr. Leslie. I really enjoyed this conversation, as serious as it is. But
I'm looking so forward to talking to you because I've got some questions.
Okay.
Maybe able to help some women who, I tried to not ask a question back. Part of my nature when you ask, but I'm sure you have a lot to share. You can't raise 3 sons and not have some testimonies, not have some scars, not have some wisdom to share, with other women.
I have some stuff.
How old are your sons?
So one is 37 going on 38. He's given me my first 2 granddaughters. And then, and then I have a 28-year-old and I have a 26-year-old.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they, I can't wait to talk to you.
It's going to be tough, but I can do it.
Oh, yeah. You do it every day. But this is, you know what? The best way that I think, even when I'm talking to males, we have to think of it as who we are helping.
Yes.
Because there's something that you can say to really open up another mother's mind. She might be going through almost the exact same thing or something very similar. And the one thing that you say could change the whole trajectory of her life and how she deals with her son just because, you made it through. Your sons are adults. And so I look forward to hearing your story as well.
Okay, thank you.
SoloMoms Talk was designed to curate the stories of SoloMoms globally. As a facilitator of this platform, I aim to create a peaceful environment where you can share your heart, feel loved, and get the advice you need. So if this sounds like you, why not RSVP for our next virtual meetup? The link is below. It's where you can retreat from the chaos of your life so you can recharge, connect with other moms, and get answers to your burning questions. Remember, you're not alone and you don't have to parent in silence.